Hey everyone, and welcome. So, have you ever found yourself getting just a little bit mixed up with the words should, must, and need to? Believe me, you are not alone. So in this explainer, we are going to clear all of that up for good, so you can start using these three incredibly important words with total confidence.
Okay, let's just jump right in with a quick scenario. Imagine someone says to you, you should see a doctor. Got it? Now, what if they said you must see a doctor? Whoa, that feels completely different, doesn't it? The urgency is on a whole other level. One is like friendly advice, the other sounds like a serious command. And getting this right is absolutely key.
So what is the secret here? Well, it all boils down to one simple idea, the degree of strength. I want you to think of it like a power meter or a volume knob. Some words are just gentle suggestions, while others are ironclad, non-negotiable rules. If you can understand this scale, everything else is going to fall right into place. All right, let's start at the beginning of our scale, with the one that has the least amount of strength, should. This is your go-to word for giving gentle advice and some friendly suggestions.
So what exactly is should? Well, you use it when you're giving your opinion or you're suggesting something that you think is a pretty good idea. It's kind of like saying, hey, in my opinion, this would be good for you. And notice its strength rating, just one little star. It's a recommendation, not a requirement. There's no pressure here.
Let's look at it in a sentence. You should drink more water. That's just good, solid advice. She should study hard for the exam. Well, that's a really helpful suggestion if she wants to pass. We should help our neighbors. This is about being a good person. You see, in every single one of these, it's a suggestion, not an order.
And, of course, we can use it in the negative too. If you want to advise against doing something, you just say should not, or more commonly, shouldn't. For example, you shouldn't eat too much sugar. That's friendly health advice. Or he shouldn't drive so fast. That's a warning for his own safety. It's the same level of gentle advice, you're just pointing out what not to do. And of course, we can flip it around and use should to ask for advice for ourselves. Should I call the doctor? You're asking for someone's opinion. What should I do? That's a classic cry for help, a request for guidance. It's really the perfect way to invite someone to give you their suggestion.
All right, next up, let's move up that strength scale. We're leaving the world of gentle advice and getting into something a bit more serious, practical needs. And this is where the phrase need to comes into play.
You can think of need to as the bridge between a simple suggestion and a strict rule. It's for something that is necessary if you want to achieve a certain goal. It's not just a good idea anymore, it's a practical requirement. And that's why it gets a solid 2-star strength rating.
Just look at these examples. I need to see a doctor. This implies there's a problem, and seeing a doctor is the necessary step to solve it. We need to pay the bills. I mean, that's not optional if you want to keep the electricity on, right? And you need to practice English daily. Well, that's what's required if your goal is to become fluent. It's all about cause and effect.
Now, this is a really important point, so listen close. The negative form don't need to means there is an absence of necessity. It completely removes the obligation. So if your boss says, you don't need to come tomorrow, that means it's totally optional. Or she doesn't need to work on weekends, that means she has no requirement to do it. She is free.
And just like with should, you can use need to ask questions. But here's the difference. You're not asking for advice, you're asking about requirements. Do I need to bring anything? Is the perfect question to ask to figure out what is necessary for a party or a meeting. You're clarifying the obligations.
Okay, here we are. We've reached the very top of our strength scale. This is for the heavy hitters, the absolute rules, the things that are completely non-negotiable. This is the territory of must. Must is, without a doubt, the most powerful of these three. It's for things you absolutely, positively have to do. We're talking about laws, official regulations, and super strong personal obligations where you have no other choice. That's why it gets our highest rating, 3 stars, very strong.
Take a look at these examples. You must wear a seatbelt. That isn't a suggestion, that's the law. All students must attend class. That is a non-negotiable school rule. Drivers must obey traffic lights. That's a fundamental rule of the road for everyone's safety. These aren't suggestions, they're commands.
Now, this might be the single most important distinction we talk about today. The negative form, must not or mustn't, does not mean you don't need to. No way. It means it is strictly forbidden. It's a direct command not to do something. This is a huge, critical difference.
For instance, you must not smoke in the hospital. That's a strict prohibition. Students must not cheat in exams. That is a rule that comes with very serious consequences if you break it. And visitors must not park here. That means it is absolutely 100% not allowed.
Okay, so we've looked at each word one by one. But now for the really fun part. Let's put them all side by side to really lock in these differences and make them totally crystal clear.
And here it is. This table basically lays it all out for you. Over on the left, you've got should for that weak advice. Right in the middle is need to for a strong, practical necessity. And on the right, must for those very strong, absolute obligations. Seriously, think of this as your ultimate cheat sheet.
Let's apply this to a real-life situation. Let's talk about health. You should drink water. That's just good general advice for anyone. But when a doctor looks you in the eye and says you must take this medicine, that is a direct, urgent order for your well-being. You can feel the difference in gravity, right?
How about at school? A teacher might say, you should do your homework. That's a good idea if you want a good grade. But the school handbook says you must attend classes. That's a fundamental rule of being a student there. One is a tip for success. The other is a mandatory requirement to even stay in the school.
And let's look at a work situation. Your manager might say, you should be polite to customers. That's a general expectation for providing good service. But then they might say, you need to finish this report by 5 p.m. See, that's a specific, practical requirement to get your job done. It's stronger than the general advice, but maybe not a company-wide law like something using must.
So there you have it. The big mystery of should, need to, and must is solved. It all just comes down to that degree of strength. You now know how to go from a gentle suggestion to a practical necessity all the way up to an absolute rule. So the question isn't, what do they mean anymore? The question is, how are you going to use them? Now go on, get out there and practice these new skills today.